All right, thanks, guys. Coming off a perfect 4-0 day on Patreon. That's my website, patreon.com/Brock Page. We went 4-0 in our premium plays. An absolutely outstanding day to get the week started off on a Monday. But we got some more work to do. The job is not done. We got some Tuesday action here. Very big slate of Major League Baseball action. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get into it, beginning with the Angels taking on the Rangers. Now that's going to be a 2:05 Eastern first pitch in Texas. The Angels are minus 140, totals 11.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Los Angeles. We also saw a little bit of movement upward on the total. The Angels open 130 up to 140. Total open 11 up to 11.5. Now 58% of the consensus is leaning toward Los Angeles. 60% shaded toward the over. Right now, Texas is plus 130 on the money line. The Angels are plus 110 on the run line. We have Andrew Heaney for the Angels, Joe Palumbo for the Rangers. The Angels are 6th in offensive walks. They're also 36 and 26 against the spread when traveling. Total-wise, the Rangers on the other side, 4-1 to the over in their last 5, taking on the Angels. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean LA Angels minus 140 and the over 11.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Royals, Orioles, 7:05 Baltimore. The O's are minus 115, totals 9.5. Baltimore opened up as the strong favorite in this one. They actually opened up $1.40. We saw a 25-cent fade of Baltimore in the early wagering. We also saw a little bit of movement downward on the total. The O's open 140 down to minus 115. Total open 10 down to 9.5. 53% are leaning Kansas City. 75% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Royals are plus 105 on the money line. The O's are plus 170 on the run line. We have Brad Keller for the Royals, Dylan Bundy for the O's. Bundy's just 5-13 with a 5.25 ERA. Keller on the other side for the Royals comes into this matchup with 117 strikeouts. Now the O's have lost their last 8 straight. They're just 39 and 86 overall for the year, 47 games under 500. They also rank dead last in runs allowed on average per game. Now total-wise, Baltimore's 38 and 24. Excuse me. I'm literally getting messages. When are you going to upload? Reiner wants to know when you're uploading. Reiner, this is coming out. Actually, if you're watching it, then it's already out. So anyway, just calm down, Matt Reiner. Anyway, where were we at? Reiner, you're messing things up here. Baltimore, 38 and 24 to the over at home. I'm going to lead Kansas City Royals plus 105. Getting the job done on the road and the over 9.5 runs in that game. Let's go ahead and take a quick timeout. Just got to welcome you guys to the show. Got some lines of personal leads out for Tuesday's Major League Baseball action. But before we go ahead and move on, just got to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page. We do daily plays on that website. I share them with you. Those are my personal plays. Those are games that I personally have action on. I had four plays in action yesterday, and we cashed on all 4 of them. Perfect 4-0 day on Patreon yesterday. That's going to improve our record to a lot of wins in a short amount of time. If you want to check out my current record, I can't remember it right now. Matt Reinert's got me all messed up here. But anyway, if you want to check out my current record, that's a part of the free content on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Brock Page. The free content is in the posts section, and the link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more Tuesday action. All starts Eastern Standard Time, and on deck we've got Nationals taking on the Pirates, 7:05 Pittsburgh. The Nats are minus 155, totals 8.5. Now we did see a nickel move toward Washington and movement downward on the total. The Nats open $1.50 up to 155. Total open 9 down to 8.5. 69% are leaning Nationals. 81% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Pittsburgh is plus 145 on the money line. Washington plus $1.05 on the run line. We have Steven Strasburg for the Nats, Chris Archer for the Pirates. Now, Archer was full of life and character and humor when he was interviewing the Little Leaguers on Sunday, but his play does not back that up because he's just 3-9 on the year, 5.23 ERA. Meanwhile, on the other side, Strasburg, he's been outstanding this year, 15-5 overall, 3.82 ERA, 185 strikeouts. Pittsburgh, what can I say? They're awful right now. Losers in 7 out of their last 10. They've also won just 7 out of their last 35 ball games. Now, total-wise, the Nats are 80% of the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean Nationals minus 155 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Indians, Mets, 7-10, Flushing, Queens. The Indians are minus 155, totals 8.5. No movement on the total as of yet. We did see a 20-cent move toward Cleveland in the early wagering. Indians open $1.35 up to $1.55. Total open and remains at 8.5. 62% are leaning Indians, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Mets are plus 145 on the money line. The Indians plus $1.05 on the run line. We have Shane Bieber for the Indians, Steven Matz for the Mets. Matz comes into this game with a 3.06 ERA and 19 punch-outs in his last 6 starts. The Mets are 34-21 in Flushing, Queens. They're also 10-1 in their last 11 at Citi Field. They rank 5th in striking batters out at home. Now, the Indians, on the other side, losers in 4 out of their last 6 ball games. They're also just 3-7 in their last 10, taking on the Mets. Now, total-wise, Cleveland is 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Give me the Mets plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Phillies Red Sox, 7-10 Boston. The Phils are minus 110, totals 11. We saw a nickel fade of Philadelphia and movement downward on the total. The Phillies open $1.15 down to minus 110. Total open 11.5 down to 11 flat. 52% are leaning Boston, 59% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Red Sox are plus 102 on the money line. The Phils plus $1.35 on the run line. We have Aaron Nola for the Phils, Brian Johnson for the Red Sox. Boston has won their last 5 straight ball games. They rank 3rd in scoring, 1st in hits. Now the Phillies on the other side, losers in 5 out of their last 6 when traveling. They're also just 3-9 in their last dozen taking on Boston. The Phils rank 25th in hits allowed on the road. They've also won just 26 out of 58 when traveling. Now, total-wise, the Phils are 4-1 to the under in their last 5 taking on Boston. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the Red Sox plus 102 and the under 11 runs in that game. Next matchup, Padres, Reds, 7-10 Cincinnati. The Reds are minus 160, totals 8.5. We saw a 15-cent fade of Cincinnati and movement downward on the total. The Reds open 175 down to 160. Total open 9 down to 8.5. 66% are leaning Reds, 62% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Padres are plus 150 on the money line. The Reds plus $1.40 on the run line. We have Cal Quantrill for the Padres. Sonny Gray for the Reds. Sonny Gay, real happy guy. Sonny Gay. He's just happy and gay. But anyway, Sonny Gray for the Reds. Such disrespect on the man's name. But we got to take a look at Cal Quantrill because he's 6-3 on the year, 3.23 ERA, 61 punch-outs. The Padres have also won 4 out of their last 5 games. They are 6th in striking batters out away from home. They're also 1st in walks allowed on the road as well. Now, the Reds on the other side, winners in just 2 out of their last 9 ball games. They're 21st in scoring, losers in 4 out of their last 6 at home. Now, total-wise, the Padres are 6-3 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lead Padres plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. You wouldn't believe it, but about an hour ago, I wanted to drive over a bridge because of my job. I hate my real job. This isn't my real job, guys. I work a real 9 to 5 in an office, and it sucks, and I hate it. All right, next game, Mariners taking on the Rays, 7-10 Tampa Bay. The Rays are minus 190, totals 8.5. We saw a nickel move toward Tampa Bay and movement downward on the total. The Rays open 185 up to 190. Total open 9 down to 8.5. Right now, Seattle's plus 170 on the money line. No designated probable for the Mariners as of yet. Once we get a guy slated on the bump for Seattle, just let me know in the comments section below so everybody can take a look at that. Now, we do have Diego Castillo for the Rays. He's 3-0. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay's 3-0 when Castillo makes the start. Seattle, on the other side, 20 games under 500. They're just 53-73 overall. Winners in just 26 out of 63 when traveling. The Rays are second in runs allowed, first in striking batters out. When it comes to the total, Seattle is 40-23 to the over when traveling. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Rays minus 190. I know it's an expensive price point, but I think they're going to win. I don't know by how much. Give me Tampa Bay minus 190 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Marlins, Braves, 720 Atlanta. The Braves are minus 265, totals 9.5. We did see a 45-cent fade of Atlanta in the early wagering. We also saw a little bit of movement upward on the total. The Braves opened 310, down to 265. Man, we got Popo, sirens. It's getting crazy out of here. Anyway, Braves open 310, down to minus 265. Total open 9, up to 9.5. 68% are leaning Braves, 73% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Marlins are plus 245 on the money line. The Braves minus $1.40 on the run line. We have Eliezer Hernandez for the Marlins, Dallas Keuchel for the Braves. Keuchel's just 3-5 with a 4.39 ERA. The Braves are 23rd in hits allowed, 28th in walks allowed. Keuchel's given up he gave up 8 runs in 3 2/3 innings pitched in his last start taking on the Marlins. Now, total-wise, the Marlins are 38-21 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Miami plus 1.5 and the under 9.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Brewers, Cards, 7:45 Eastern first pitch in St. Louis. Pretty much a coin flip in this one. Both teams minus 105, total at 10. Now, the Cardinals did open up as the favorite. We saw a 10-cent fade of St. Louis in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. The Cards open $1.15, down to minus 105. Total open 10.5, down to 10 flat. 54% are leaning Brewers, 68% shaded toward the over. And we got Gio Gonzalez for the Brewers, Michael Wacha for the Cards. Now, Wacha comes into this game with a 2.25 ERA, taking on Milwaukee this year. Do I have anything in my teeth? Looked like it. Anyway, the Cardinals 35-23 at home, second in runs allowed at home, fourth in hits allowed at home. The Brewers are on the other side, 25th in striking out, 26th in walks allowed. They've also won just 28 out of 63 when traveling. Now, total-wise, the Cards are 38-20 to the under at home. I'm going to lean St. Louis minus 105 and the under 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Angels, Rangers. That's going to be game 2 of that doubleheader. 8:05 Eastern first pitch in Arlington. The Angels are minus $1.25, totals at 12. No movement on the money line as of yet. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see a little bit of movement upward on the total. Once again, LA open and remains minus $1.25. Total open 11.5 up to 12 flat. 56% are leaning Angels, 59% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Rangers are plus 115 on the money line. Looks like we have Jaime Barria for the Angels and Brock Burke. That's right, Brock Burke. Not Brock Page, but Brock Burke for the Rangers. Now, Texas has won just 2 out of their last 8. They're 29th in striking out on average per game. The Angels are 6th in offensive walks, 36-26 against the spread when traveling. Of course, when I refer to the spread, I'm referring to the run line. And when it comes to the total, the Angels are 35-27 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean LA Angels minus $1.25 and the over 12 runs in that game. Next matchup, Giants, Cubs, 8:05 Chicago, Wrigley Field, Windy City. The Cubs are minus 200, totals 9.5. No movement on the money line, two-way action there. We saw movement upward on the total. Once again, Chicago open and remains minus 200. Total open 9 up to 9.5. 70% are leaning Chicago, 69% shaded toward the under. Right now, San Francisco is plus 180 on the money line. The Cubbies minus $1.05 on the run line. We have Tyler Beede for San Francisco, Cole Hamels for the Cubs. Hamels is 6-4 with a 3.69 ERA and 107 punch-outs. Beede on the other side for the Giants, 3-7 on the year, 5.88 ERA. The Cubbies are almost unbeatable at home, 41-19 at Wrigley. They're also 54-32 when favored. The Giants on the other side, 25th in scoring, losers in 5 out of their last 6 head-to-head matchups with Chicago. When it comes to the total, the Giants are 34-29 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Cubbies -1.5 and the over 9.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Tigers, Astros, 8-10 Houston. The Astros are -300, totals at 9. We saw a 60-cent fade of Houston and a movement downward on the total. Houston opened 360, down to -300. Total opened 9.5, down to 9 flat. 72% are leaning Houston, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Tigers are +260 on the money line. Houston -$1.50 on the run line. We have Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers, Aaron Sanchez for the Astros. Sanchez just 5-12 with a 5.79 ERA. Of course, most of those losses and hits and runs scored came with the Blue Jays, but still 5-14, 5.79 ERA. Spencer Turnbull on the other side, he struck out 106 batters on the year. I'm taking this one just based on value alone. I'm taking the Tigers +1.5 and the over 9 runs in that game. I'm taking the worst team in baseball to cover. They're going to keep it close. All right, next game. Rockies Diamondbacks, 940 Arizona. The D-backs are -140. Totals at 10. We saw a 10-cent fade of Arizona and movement downward on the total. The D-backs open 150 down to -140. Total open 10.5 down to 10 flat. 60% are leaning Arizona, 71% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Rockies are +130 on the money line. The D-backs +$1.30 on the run line as well. We have Kyle Freeland for the Rockies, Alex Young for the D-backs. Young's 4-3 with a 3.98 ERA. Freeland on the other side, what the hell happened to him? He's awful this year. 3-10 on the year, 7.09 ERA. The Diamondbacks are 9th in scoring, 8th in hits. The Rockies on the other side, 11 games under 500, just 57-68 overall for the year. Winners in just 24 out of 63 when traveling. They've also won just 23 out of 68 as the official Vegas underdog. One more thing to add about Colorado. They are dead last in hits allowed on average per game. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, Colorado is 35-28 to the under when traveling. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Diamondbacks -140 and the under 10 runs in that game. All right.